because, you know, there's so much trial and error during this time about how we want to get things accomplished. Yeah, there's definitely a significant amount, but when it comes down to it, he's going to learn that playbook. He's going to handle it the way he needs to, you know, much like Duke did. He's going to have to know the plays when we get out here, and that's expected. And so he'll be able to handle that. But, you know, with the way that we're, you know, kind of finalizing what we want to get accomplished and how we want to go about it, it's a pretty good time for him to come in and be able to do it.
Did you really understand? I mean, were you totally supportive with the way that he handled everything up to this point, and you were fine with it?
You know, a professional is going to be a professional. You know, he's going to train how he wants to. It's an elite athlete. That's how he does his stuff, and you got to believe and trust in that. That's the same thing I said last time, and you got to trust him to be able to show up and when he needs to and be there for his team. And I just know him, and that's the type of guy he is. He's going to be here when he needs to. It's obviously still early in the process, but you know, we're going to kick it into a little overdrive here pretty soon, and you know, just keep building that. You know, we don't have to be perfect right now. We're building for that. You know, still a long way away from game one, but you know, we got to be ready for that.
Just holding each other accountable. You know, we kind of, when we were at LSU, we kind of went through days, you know, understanding, you know, we wanted to have the better day of practice, you know, and individually and as a group, you know, and that competition level, again, that became the standard, that became the bar. You know, one of us dropped the ball that practice, you know, the other one made sure that we didn't drop a ball, you know, and that was kind of the friendly brotherhood competition that kind of made us who we are, you know, and it challenged us, and you know, he's going to challenge every guy in that room, not just me, you know, and vice versa. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to have him here, and you know, I can't wait till, you know, things get really going.
The team goals are obviously first for everybody here, but with so many weapons on the offense, will you and Odell be okay if each of you are catching 46 passes instead of your usual a million?
A million? Well, I don't know if you break that up the same way, but I think there are going to be opportunities. You know, ultimately, I think the goal at the end of the day is to win each game. You know, regardless of how it's done, who scores the touchdowns, who catches the passes. Now, is there a sense of pride in there where, you know, you want to be the guy that make the plays? Absolutely. You know, I'd be lying if I say it wasn't. But at the end of the day, I think that we have the right group of guys, the group of men with the right attitudes that will allow us to not fall in, you know, the pride trap of, you know, who's catching the touchdowns or who catching the balls.
All right. I think I now see, and I think the fans see and you see, what the problem is with Beckham not showing up for camp. Will he be in shape? No, that's not the question. Mm-hmm. The problem is, look at the frustration on Baker-Mayfield having to answer the same questions over and over and over again instead of what the quarterback should be answering at this time of the year. And it's all because Beckham decided not to show up.
Yeah, well, you know, again, I think the organization, if hooked up to polygraphs, would say they expected him to be here more than one OTA session. And I don't think that's too much to ask. I understand that you may have some things going on in the off season, but I just think it was special circumstances of him being traded to a team where he doesn't know the head coach very well, hasn't met any of the coaches on the staff. He knows his position coach.
Doesn't know where Bree is.
You know, just that's all. Now that it's over with and everything from here on is mandatory, I'm sure he'll be here and I'm sure he'll perform well in September.
So when we get into September, into the months of the season, what do you expect from Odell Beckham?
I think there'll be fantastic plays. I think there'll be signs of, some egomania. There has been before. I think he'll probably have some injuries. He's had those before. But, he's going to be that dynamic guy that makes enough plays that people will love him for.
And if Jarvis-Landry is having a great year, better than him, what do you expect there?
Well, I don't think that is going to happen, but I think if it does, I think Landry will be the first to say that the year he's having is probably a direct result of the attention that Beckham commands when he's on the field.
All right.
Jarvis-Landry, to me, is a very good slot receiver, a good team leader. He's not a game-breaking guy, so I think.
But a good guy to have.
Both, absolutely. And I think we saw him in Hard Knocks, the kind of stance he took. And listen, he probably didn't want to be at OTAs either, right? but
Well,
he was there. He
yeah, he was
wasn't
there. He didn't
practicing
do
all the
anything,
time, but
yeah.
he was there. He was
Yeah.
there. And I think that if Beckham had come in and said, I don't want to take a chance on getting hurt at this time of year, but I'm going to be here for, 2 days a week for this
And
thing.
my guess is the Browns would have even suggested that.
I think they probably would have been fine with it. I just think it's more of a, is this guy going to want to be part of this team and part of the camaraderie and the chemistry and everything, or is he coming here because he got traded and just looking to win games and have big stat games?
The Freddie Kitchens has said on numerous occasions that he talked to he talked to Odell Beckham early on, talked to him every day, right?
That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know if that continued on through the rest of the OTAs.
It's hard to imagine.
But the question is, I mean, how does Freddie Kitchens not let this bother him? Because this is his first trial as a head coach in the NFL.
I think what's bothering him a little bit is, first of all, I do think he expected him to be here a little more often, but I think the other part of it is that he's had to deal with all those questions all the time. And now I guess today he said, I wasn't there again, but from reading the stories, I guess he said that he thought that the media had taken his comments the last time out of context. But he was asked last time, what has Beckham missed? It wasn't a loaded question.
No.
He said, what has he missed?
Everything.
And he said, a lot.
Yeah.
The offense. So he could have answered that, hey, he's missed some obviously some offense, but he's a veteran guy and he's really smart, and we think we can get him up to speed. He could have answered that in any way he wanted to.
Do you think that was suggested by the PR department, how to answer that question?
That they're the one that said
that Freddie was a little rougher than he had been. Was he prepped?
Yeah, I don't know. They probably didn't prep him because it was May, and it was like, well, we know the guy, it's not mandatory, so what's the big issue? And Freddie will handle whatever comes his way. I mean, Freddie's going to find out, and he's pretty good with the media already, I think. But but it's going to get tougher when he makes a call late in the game and they lose, or he mismanages the clock, or whatever happens. And he's going to be bombarded with questions. If they get off to a 1-2 start, he's going to be bombarded with questions.
All right.